Boker Tov. I'm Rabbi Shaner here with Temple Sinai, and I'm really excited to start this morning with you as we wish each other a good morning and join together for our daily chance to connect, to reflect, and to remember. It's wonderful to be together as a community, even on a day as hot and as muggy as I think it's going to be. Hopefully we'll get some rain here in Toronto. But I know that here we are in our virtual chapel, prepared to share some thoughts on life and to reflect together and to really connect with one another as a community. And so I'll ask if you would share in the chat as we start every day with a prayer for gratitude of just being here. If you want to share in the chat something you're grateful for this morning so that we can celebrate that together as a community, that would be amazing. But we'll begin together with reciting these words about gratitude from our prayer book. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et haadam bechokma uvaravo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim galui v'adio lifnei chisech vodecha she'im yipateach echad mehem o yisatem echad mehem אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך Baruch atah Adonai, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. We'll continue with words which sanctify our joining together to grow in both our minds and our hearts through the words of Torah, the words of our tradition, which we will share in just a minute. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, v'ha'arevna Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratcha b'finu, v'fi amcha beit Yisrael, v'niyeh anachnu v'tze'etza'enu v'tze'etza'ei amcha beit Yisrael, kulanu yod'ei shmecha, v'lomdei Toratecha lishma. Baruch atah Adonai, hamelamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you sanctify our lives with mitzvot and command us to engage in Torah study. Eternal our God, may our words of Torah be sweet to us. Let every generation, young and old, the whole family of Israel, come to know you through the study of Torah for its own sake. Eternal God, we praise you as the teacher of Torah to the people of Israel. And we continue now with words of Torah that have stood with us through every generation, words which remind us that we are connected and part of a larger whole, as just as God is one, we are one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. Ve'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'b'shochbecha u'b'kumecha. U'kshartam le'ot al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תתורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Well, emet, the last word of the Shema that we recite together, means truth. And we learn truth from many different places, but one of the most important, and one we have been learning together on this stream, is the truths that we learn from not just the words of our tradition, but from the letters that form those words. And so we have been in the process of studying the lessons that the forms and order of the letters of our Hebrew alphabet have to teach us. And we'll continue this morning with the seventh letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the letter Zayin. So if you look here on our chart of Ketav Ivri, the ancient Hebrew script, and Ketav Ashuri, the Assyrian script with which our Torah and our tradition is written, we look here at the seventh letter, the letter Zayin. You see in the ancient pictograph, as well as in the Ketav Ivri, that the form of the letter Zayin is like that of a tool, particular kind of tool, a mattock, or a kind of what we call this Bronze Age tool, an adze, an axe, a pickaxe. This is a gardening tool. This is a tool for digging in the earth and for planting seeds. And it's no surprise that the letter Zayin in the Ketav Ashuri has a similar, although more dressed up kind of form. So we can see here, this is the Ketav Ashuri, the Zayin that we know and love. And we see that it has this straight up and down form with a bit of with a handle, with a squiggle at the top, very much like this Iron Age tool, this adze axe. And the Zayin is it is a contradictory kind of letter. It embodies a whole bunch of paradoxes. For example, like I just said, it is this tool made for digging, for getting down in the earth, and yet it is also a letter that stands for some of our highest values, for purpose, for nurturing, for growth. And the reason that it is all of those things is that there is a contradiction that is really important to understand within the tradition, that our values may come from on high, but that they are worthless without our action, without our doing something about them. And so Zayin, as the Kabbalah reminds us, the teachings of the Jewish mystical tradition remind us that the letter Zayin is the letter which symbolizes action rather than thought. And they do that by pointing out that the letter Zayin is really just the letter Vav wearing a crown. And if we remember from a couple of days ago, the letter Vav, which is a straight up and down line, kind of like with a hook at the top, the letter Vav represents completion. It represents thought. And in the Kabbalistic tradition, it's what we call the Or Yashar, the light that comes directly to us, to this world, from God. The thought, the meaning that we might find in this world. But it's not, but this Zayin wears a crown because it represents action. Lazun, to feed, or laziz, to move, are two words that start with Zayin, and the crown comes to our thoughts. The purpose of our thoughts is to enact them, to do something about them, And so this is what the Kabbalah calls Or Choser, the light that we send back to God by enacting our highest values with our own two hands. In other words, by digging in the ground, by getting our hands dirty, by doing the work, we are often enacting the highest values that come to us from heaven, from God, from Torah, from our ancestors, that come down to us. And so even though Zion is a vertical, it's a vertical letter, it stands up and down, it also has a bit of a horizontal axis too. It works both directions. The truth is that all of this is, all of this Kabbalistic understanding of the ladder is a bit hard to wrap our heads around. But I think that it's easy to understand that purpose is the combination of action and meaning. That action can lead us astray if it's without purpose. If we only had the squiggle, the horizontal part of Zion, we would, our actions would not go anywhere. They would have no legs. They would help us, start us spinning around, but without any action. This vertical column just sits still. It doesn't go anywhere. And so when we look at this letter, we should be reminded that our values only have meaning if we stand by them and we work to make them real in the world that we live in, if we work towards action. And that really, after all, is the crown that Zion wears on its head. And so now that we have taken a moment to think about how we are going to enact our values and how we are going to access the purpose of having action and meaning together, we take a moment to think of those whose lives have been disrupted, whose access to action and meaning and purpose is a bit up in the air right now, whether they are ill or isolated or working on the front lines to keep the rest of us safe and healthy. Take a moment to think of those who are ill, who are connected to our community, and those who are part of our community as we share these traditional words of healing for them. Mishaberach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak veYaakov, ve'imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel, v'yirapeh et kol makotenu. Yiratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu, lachal imam u'rapotam, וישלח לנו מהרה רפואה שלמה ועטרת שלום, ותגן עלינו ממחלה רעה, ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, heal all who suffer. May it be your will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and guard us from all illness, as we say together, Amen. Well, I'm just looking through to some of the things that we're grateful for this morning. We are feeling grateful. We are feeling grateful for consistency, whether of our community or anything else in our lives. I definitely feel that the lack of consistency that we have felt in this pandemic and the constantness of consistency are two things that we should both be thinking about. We are grateful to be able to walk along the East Don River Creek. That's, to be able to be in nature, to be outside, to enjoy our ability to move. All of those things are things to be grateful for. Grateful for family. I see that family is a really important thing to hold in our hearts and to be grateful for. And to be grateful to be a Jew, it's not a small thing that we're able to have gratitude for all of these blessings in our life, but that gratitude was handed down to us by those who went before. And so we take a moment now to think of those who showed us the way to live and to have purpose in our lives. and we hold them in our hearts as we think of those who died recently in the last 30 days and offer our condolences to the families of David Garber, Zeno Werb, Robert Filler, Alan Fridson, Rose Rich, Benjamin Fruitman, and Judy Gabay. As well as on this 27th of Tammuz, we think those who died at this time in years past. We think of Louis M. Bloomfield, Sarah Graff, Sarah Grossman, Arthur Jacobs, David Kirschenbaum, Sam Shapiro, Lillian Solomon, and Natalie Weingarten. Zichronam livracha. May their memories always bring us blessing and gratitude as we turn to words glorified by memory, words sanctified by hope, the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmeh rabbah, be'alma divrach eruteh v'yamlich machuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zaman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmeh rabba mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shmeh dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'meromav, hu yaraseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who remember, as we say together, amen. It's been wonderful to spend this morning time together, to connect as a community, and to learn together. And I look forward to joining you again this coming Wednesday at 8:30 as we welcome back Rabbi Dolgan starting from tomorrow. And know that I'll see you soon. And hopefully every morning at 8:30 you can log in with us, as well as at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning and 6:30 on Friday evening. Go out and enjoy the day while it's not raining, and hope you make it a great day. Shabbat Shalom.